Hey guys, and welcome to a video covering my first impressions on the nerfed Animate Dead and Fractured Staff of Armadyl beta. Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. One sub is one prayer for AFK Hellweir. Let's get started. The combat beta is live until the 16th of May and can be accessed by going to the latest Runescape news post and clicking on the hyperlinks for either launcher you're using. Now, it's worth noting you have to forcefully close any active client you have on in the background, or it will not allow you to get into the beta and instead load up the main game. Now let's start by talking about the Animate Dead spell. The new version of Animate Dead causes you to take a couple percent to over 50% more damage depending on the size of the hit. The lower the hit, the more damage you'll be taking now. Now, when going into this, I was afraid that this potential change in the beta could cause certain AFK Slayer methods to go extinct. But as it turns out, some of the most gear and defensive heavy Slayer tasks are still very much AFKable. Now, bearing in mind that my testing was limited, I can say that you will still be able to AFK Moss Golems in Legacy and EOC with the right setup. And I'm still going to expect it to work when using partial Sea Singers and DPS armor as well in Legacy. You're even still able to AFK Abyssal Demons in this wilderness spot, which is probably the most tough or hardest Slayer task to AFK. I was really surprised that this worked even when using 4 pieces of Crit Bloom instead of 5. Although that might have something to do with the removal of those wilderness ambushes and volcanic attacks, never really causing you to drop below high health. Obviously, there are a million different possible setups, but the point here is that current AFK Slayer task methods that benefit or exist thanks to Animate Dead will not cease to exist. I can imagine some tasks requiring the use of more tank armor pieces than before, but it's still going to be possible. That's the important thing. Now, I also did a full hard mode Zuck run to see what kind of effect the increased damage taken would have, and I've got to say, hard mode Zuck is still very much viable with magic tank armor and Animate Dead. I would not for a second want to swap out magic for ranged here even after these balance changes, which may not even make it into the live game in their current state. Now, I would be lying to you if I didn't notice the increased damage, because I did, as I got to low health more than I'd like, more often for sure, and when I was attacked by multiple minions or enemies, it definitely hurt more than before. The little fire volcanoes also seem to be dealing significantly more damage, and in a test without Crit Bloom using Ganodermic, I was taking 62% more damage with my prayer turned on, and 11% more damage without. Now, that might not seem like much, but in addition to all the other hits you're taking, it could be the difference between you running out of food and not running out of food, which for your first run could be very important to you. So if for whatever reason you're very bad at wave-based content, it's probably going to be better for you to try and get those Zuck capes now than in the future. Oh, and I'm going to say it, I have a guide for both normal and hard mode linked in the description below. Good luck. Now, where I think the biggest change to Animate Dead lies is the spell no longer reducing soft typeless damage, so damage that hits you without a combat style attached to it, but can be reduced by an ability such as Debilitate. This has caused it to be significantly harder to AFK a boss like Hellweir. When you first try out Hellweir, it all seems fine until you start getting hit by his Mushroom Fart attack, because that's when you really start to take damage. Here's how Animate Dead reduces the mushroom damage now, and here's how it reduces the damage in the beta. These mushroom attacks will now cause you to die or get very close to dying depending on your damage output, healing potential, and armor set. It is possible to survive these, as I did for a few kills in a row, so you could say that Hellweir is still AFKable, but as soon as you get double mushroomed in a row, you're probably going to be taken out. So the consistency of this method has been completely ruined, and you're guaranteed to die, whether that's in 2 kills due to luck or in 10. As for the new Fractured Staff of Armadyl special attack, this now turns the previously fired auto attacks for every critical hit into ability hits that deal an average of 90% ability damage, which are boosted just like regular abilities by Sunshine. Oh, and they also reduced the amount of runes the staff uses, which is definitely nice. Now, I went into this beta with the assumption that the FSOA was completely ruined, as I heard plenty of people saying the damage was nerfed by a third or more. Now, I was skeptical of those claims, of course, but the truth would come out from the beta testing anyway. Well, it didn't take long for me to realize that the FSOA wasn't as badly affected as I heard, at least for someone like me. I beat my Vindicta record, so personal best, by 0.6 seconds on my second Vindicta DPS dummy test, on stream, while being distracted, and not really trying to lower my HP to really, try and get a personal best. I wasn't actively trying, I was just trying to deal some damage to see what the FSOA was like. Now, that doesn't mean something per se, because I never actively tried to get a low kill time Vindicta kill, because I could probably get a faster kill, but that definitely means that the FSOA wasn't nerfed to the useless state people were making it out to be beforehand. I figured I would test my DPM in the beta using a setup without poison damage or Vuln bombs, but with a Grimoire and Kagarian Demon buff for the crit bonus. I did this using the 3-minute damage dummies called Dwarven Challenge Barrels, and my results were as follow: 308k DPM, 316k DPM, and 317k DPM. Now, what matters here isn't the actual DPM number, because that is obviously going to be lower without the poison boost and all that kind of stuff, but the difference between this DPM and the DPM on the live game using the exact same setup. These numbers were 300k DPM, 319k DPM, and 302k DPM. For those of you watching my live stream, I was genuinely surprised, but also confused. How on earth was I doing better after the changes? People in my chat were joking about it being buffed, but isn't this supposed to be a big nerf? As my viewer suggested, I went ahead and tried a 5-minute challenge gem on the main game and on the beta. On the main game, I got a 2.1 million gem from a 5-minute test, so 420k DPM. I'm not sure why it's that much higher, but probably because I was using the Smoke Cloud spell, which was also suggested by my viewers for this test. Perhaps some of the extra damage coming from Greater Chain also helped. Now in the beta, I got blinded by these damn particle crystals that people kept putting all over the place, which did give me a good giggle, but were definitely ruining my focus and damage output, so I went ahead and tried again later, and I got a 1.853 million gem, so about 370k DPM. Or about an 11.7% decrease compared to the main game. Are these perfectly identical rotations? Of course not, but these are some numbers that you can think about. Now, it is worth noting that I did not use any fancy spell switching, I just stuck to camping Insight Fear, so it's very much a possibility, which players were telling me, that players on the high end of the skill spectrum have seen their DPS decrease by a larger percentage, but from my perspective and my own testing, my impressions so far make it seem like the FSOA has not been nerfed that hard at all. Now, while I only played around for about 5 hours, I wouldn't say that this nerf or balance change has destroyed Magic at all. Has it altered the game and reduced how effective Magic is? Sure. Is it meta changing? Perhaps, but Magic is still incredibly powerful and versatile. As for the pull you're able to use in game, I'm not sure if I like Animate Dead being nerfed, as I enjoy taking less damage at Karapak and Zamorak as it's less overwhelming, and if it really is better for the game and the general consensus is, hey, sure, they're not too bad, let's go through with them, I'd be okay with them as well. I still think nerfing something to reintroduce something more powerful in the future is a bit of an odd way to balance a game. But hey, I'm just a player. I think I'm going to have to play around a little bit more of those high-level bosses before I give my own definitive answer in this beta poll, but be sure to let me know what you think of these nerfs, and if you want them to go through or not. Time to go rest my voice and get some sleep. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.